Hi friends, welcome to this video. It's Rachelle here. I'm so glad you guys clicked on this video today. I haven't made a YouTube video in so long. I feel like it's been almost a month. I wasn't able to make videos sooner just because I was super busy, and I'm so sorry for that, but now I am back. So in this video, I will give you book recommendations that will help you get into reading. When I was a young teen, I absolutely loved reading. But then when high school came around, I started to only read required books for my classes. And I never really picked up a book for fun anymore. I kind of forgot that reading is something you could do for pleasure, but then years later, I rediscovered the joy in just sitting down with a good book. I know a lot of you out there may not really read a lot anymore, but you want to try and start again, so this video is for you guys. Again, in this video, I will be giving you guys some book recommendations to help you get back into reading. Let's start with one of my favorite genres out there, which is fantasy. Fantasy is a fantastic genre if you are looking for escapism or if you enjoy reading about the impossible. The first book I have for you guys is Caraval. This is a YA fantasy, and it is the first book in a trilogy. If you love fairy tale vibes, this book is definitely perfect for you. In this book, we have two sisters, Scarlet and Tella, and they live on this island with their cruel father. Ever since they were little, they dreamed of seeing Caraval, which is this performance that happens once a year, where the audience participates in the show. Unfortunately, though, the show never performed on the island that Scarlet and Tella live on. Therefore, of course, Scarlet and Tella have never seen the show. But now Scarlet's father has arranged a marriage for her, and she thinks her dreams of seeing Caraval are over. But this year, Legend, Caraval's mastermind, invites Scarlet and Tella to be part of Caraval. Only as soon as they arrive, Tella is kidnapped by Legend, and it turns out this year's Caraval is centered around Tella, and whoever finds her is the winner. The next fantasy is Once Upon a Broken Heart. This is also a YA fantasy. Again, if you like fairy tale vibes, this is another perfect series for you. However, if you want to read this book, I would recommend you to read the Caraval series first, because the Caraval series is actually the prequel series to the Once Upon a Broken Heart series. This book is about Evangeline. For as long as she can remember, she has believed in true love and happily ever afters until she learns the love of her life will marry another. Evangeline then becomes desperate to stop the wedding, so she strikes a deal with the Prince of Hearts. In exchange for his help, though, he asks for 3 kisses to be given at the time and place of his choosing. But after Evangeline's first promised kiss, she learns that bargaining with an immortal is far more dangerous than she ever expected, because the Prince of Hearts has plans, and he wants far more than Evangeline ever expected. The next book I have for you guys is Fourth Wing. This is a fantasy with some romance in it. I usually find fantasy books with some romance in it easier to get into than just straight fantasy, so that's why I'm recommending you guys this book. This book follows Violet, who has trained her entire life to enter the scribe quadrant. Scribes are people who live quiet lives around books and history. However, her mother, who is also the commanding general, has forced her to enter the writer's quadrant to become a dragon rider. The only problem is that Violet is small, and she doesn't have a body build that dragons usually bond to, with fewer dragons willing to bond than cadets. Most are willing to kill Violet to increase their chances of success. The rest would kill her for just being her mother's daughter, including Xaden, who is a powerful, ruthless wing leader in the writer's quadrant. In this book, we see Violet enter the writer's quadrant, trained to become a dragon rider, but with every day that passes, the war outside becomes more deadly, and Violet begins to suspect that leadership is hiding a big secret. This is actually my favorite fantasy out there. I love this book so much. The last fantasy I have for you guys is A Court of Thorns and Roses. This is another fantasy with a lot of romance in it. I just have to recommend this book to you guys because this is the book that actually got me into reading fantasy. Like I said earlier, I think fantasies with a lot of romance in it are very good intro books to the genre of fantasy. Something I will say about this book is that you really have to push through it because, in my opinion, the rest of the series is so much better than this first book. This book follows Farah. She is a huntress and she ends up killing this wolf in the forest, but it turns out she didn't actually kill a wolf. She actually killed a fairy, and because of what she did, Tamlin, a powerful immortal fairy who once ruled their world, drags her back to his land where she must live the rest of her life. But as Farah lives in his estate, her feelings towards Tamlin slowly transform from hostility to passion. At the same time, a wicked shadow over the fairy realm grows, and Farah must find a way to stop it, or else Tamlin and his world will be changed forever. The next genre is mystery thriller. This genre is for those of you who need a mystery to solve in order for you to get into the story. This genre is usually fast-paced with a lot of action, so it's perfect for those of you who are looking for a book that will keep you on the edge of your seat throughout the entire book. The first book I have for you guys is The Inheritance Games. This book is more of a mystery than a thriller, but in this book, Avery happens to inherit everything this rich man owns. However, she doesn't even know him personally. Avery inherits billions, and along with that comes with a lot of enemies because getting this inheritance means that the entire Hawthorne family has been disinherited. Throughout this entire book, Avery is set on this entire game to find out why she was left the inheritance. The next book is The Housemaid. This book has such a big plot twist that will blow your mind. It is about a woman named Millie who has recently been released from prison. Her job as a live-in housemaid at Nina and Andrew's house is her chance at a fresh start. However, Nina is the worst possible human you can ever imagine, and she makes the job so much harder for Millie. And meanwhile, Andrew seems more broken every day because of his wife's behavior. Soon though, Andrew and Millie form a connection, and they think Nina doesn't know, but she does, and by the time Millie realizes that her bedroom door only locks from the outside, it is too late. The next book is Rock, Paper, Scissors. I love this book so much that I just had to recommend it to you guys. It's actually probably one of my favorite mystery thrillers out there. Adam and Amelia have been having problems for a while, so when they win a weekend trip away to Scotland, it might just be what their marriage needs. There's something special about Adam though. Adam lives with face blindness, so he can't even recognize his own wife. They both know that this weekend will make or break their marriage, but they didn't randomly win this trip. One of them is lying, and someone doesn't want them to live a happily ever after. This book is another book with a shocking twist at the end, and it will actually blow your mind. The last mystery thriller book I have for you guys is The Couple Next Door. This book will definitely keep you on the edge of your seat. This book follows a couple who has been invited to a dinner party at their neighbors. However, their neighbors don't want their 6-month-old daughter there because they just can't stand the crying. The sitters are unavailable, so this couple is forced to leave their daughter at home by herself, and the couple tells themselves that it will be fine because they are just next door and they're going to be gone only a few hours. Throughout their night, this couple checks on their daughter. When they last checked on her, she was sleeping, but when they check on her again now, she's gone. Moving on to literary fiction. This is a genre that closely represents real life, and it's definitely the genre that you will be able to relate to most. There are so many good books that fit in this genre, but I'm only going to recommend you a few. The first book is Yellowface. It is about a young writer named June, who we can pretty much call her untalented in her craft. She's friends with this Asian American writer named Athena, who is very talented. So Athena and June are literally complete opposites. One day when they are hanging out, Athena ends up choking to death, and June unfortunately witnesses it. Upon Athena's death though, June ends up stealing Athena's latest manuscript. She makes some rewrites and publishes it as her own. However, after the release of the book, June faces a ton of problems because she's a white woman telling a Chinese story. The next book is Beartown. Reading the first line of this book will make you want to finish the rest of the book. Beartown is a tiny community and people say it is finished, but in Beartown, there is this old hockey rink, and it is the reason why people believe that tomorrow will be a better day than today. Their junior ice hockey team is about to compete in the national semifinals, and they actually have a shot at winning. All the hopes and dreams now rest on the shoulders of these teenage boys. But being responsible for the hopes and dreams of an entire town is a heavy burden, and the semifinal match is the catalyst for a violent act that will leave a young girl traumatized and a town in turmoil. The next book recommendation I have for you guys is Malibu Rising. This is a historical fiction novel, but I still think a lot of people today can still connect to the characters. This book follows 4 famous siblings who throw an epic end of summer party. Nina, the surfer and model, her brothers Jay and Hud, one a champion surfer and the other famous photographer, and Kit, the adored baby of the family, throw this party. By morning, their mansion would have burned to the ground, and no one will know how the fire started. But before the first spark, in the early hours before dawn, the loves and secrets that shape this family across generations will all come bubbling to the surface to make for a night that no one will forget. Then we also have Normal People. This is a book that closely depicts real life, but it is written in such a unique way because the author does not use quotations to write dialogue. This book follows Connell and Marianne. At school, Connell is popular while Marianne is a loner. When Connell picks up his mother from a housekeeping job at Marianne's house, a connection grows between the two of them. However, they try to keep it a secret at school, so they pretend that they don't know each other. A year later, they are both studying in Trinity College in Dublin, and it's like the roles are reversed because Marianne has found her feet in a new social world, and Connell hangs on the sidelines. Throughout the years, Connell and Marianne circle one another, straying towards other people and possibilities, but still magnetically drawn back together. As Marianne veers towards self-destruction, and Connell begins to search for meaning elsewhere, they must confront how far they are willing willing to go to save each other. Moving on to romance. This is a genre that is perfect for you if you just want to feel happiness. Romance books often make you laugh, smile, and they are generally feel-good books. I thought I would recommend you 2 closed-door romances and 2 books with a little more smut. So let's start with the 2 closed-door romances. The first book is Meet Me at the Lake. This is a cute romance that falls into the trope right person, wrong time. In her early 20s, Fern spends 24 hours roaming around Toronto with an artist named Will. The timing was wrong, but their connection was undeniable. They made a pact with each other to meet up 1 year later. Fern showed up, but Will didn't. In the present day though, at 32, Fern is back home running her mother's Muskoka Lakeside Resort, something she vowed to never do. She needs a lifeline, and to her surprise, it comes in the form of Will, who is 9 years late. Then we have When True Loves. In her 20s, Emma marries her high school sweetheart Jesse. They build a life for themselves far away from their parents' expectations. On their first wedding anniversary though, Jesse is on a helicopter over the Pacific when it goes missing. And just like that, Jesse is gone forever. So then Emma quits her job and moves back home to put her life together. Years later now though, in her 30s, Emma runs into her old friend Sam and finds herself falling in love again. Emma and Sam get engaged, but then Jesse is found alive. He has been trying to find her all these years to come back home to her. Now with a husband and a fiance, Emma has to figure out who she is and what she wants. Moving on to the romances with a little more smut, and it's a little more spicy. We first have The Deal and the entire Off-Campus series. In this book, Hannah has finally found someone she's interested in, but she's not very good at helping herself get noticed. So she strikes a deal with Garrett. Garrett is a popular hockey player. He will help get Hannah noticed by her crush if she will help him get his grades up to stay on the hockey team. This romance is a fake dating romance. It's so good and it's my favorite book in the entire series. The last book I have for you guys is Flawless and the entire Chestnut Spring series. Flawless is of course the first book. It is about Rhett, who is a professional bull rider who needs to clean up his image. So his agent sends his own daughter to be Rhett's full-time supervisor. This book is an enemies to lovers. I actually really enjoyed this book. I'm actually not done the series yet. I just finished reading the 3rd book in the series Powerless and I liked it a lot. I am actually really loving this entire series. So far I can say that it is a solid 4-star series. It's not quite 5 stars for me, but 4 stars is still a really high rating in my opinion, and I would still recommend all of you to read it. Alright guys, that is it for this video. Thank you guys so much for listening and watching. I hope you found this book recommendation video helpful. If you have read any of these books or you're going to read any of these books, let me know in the comments down below. I would love to hear your thoughts on them. If you are still currently watching this video, comment down below what you're currently reading. I would love to hear what you guys are up to. And if you guys haven't already done so, be sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I post a lot of book content, so if you're interested in that, definitely subscribe. It's practically free entertainment. And with that, I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!
Pull the key out the ignition. Run your mouth but I never listen. You hold me back, will never last. Keep talking all your shit. Wondering how all this started. You left me broken hearted. You flip my words, yeah, this love hurts. Keep talking all your shit.